A very warm welcome, everybody, to the first drivers' press conference of the FIA Formula One Japanese Grand Prix. We have Keith Ryder here. A very warm welcome to you, Keith. Firstly, you spent a year on the sidelines while Cadillac got their program together. Some would say that is a year of rust. Are you concerned?
Look, I won't lie. Sitting at home watching other people drive is humbling. But I learned a lot. Mostly that I hate sitting at home watching other people drive.
Keith, you had a strong opening race in Australia, but you were outqualified by your teammate here and are sitting P16 on the grid. Is there any cause for concern?
Yeah, you know, P16 is fine. I like passing people. Gives me something to do during the first stint.
The Gasly incident in Australia, your front wing, his left tyre. You crashed out of every racer you ever participated in during your time in IndyCar. At what point does the FAA start asking whether you're a danger to the other drivers out there?
Pierre moved on me late. That's it. That's the whole story. I ran a season of Formula 2 without a scratch. It's funny how no one wants to remember that. As for IndyCar, well, I struggled. Oh, and I already bought the shipping label for Pierre's wing. I figured he should have something to remember me by.
And if this race doesn't go your way?
Well, then, I guess you guys will have more material for next week.
All right, Keith, thank you for your time and good luck tomorrow.
No fewer than 12 world champions have been crowned at Suzuka, but who will be tasting glory today at the checkered flag? We're approaching lights out, and we can't wait for the Japanese Grand Prix. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Hamilton, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Piastri, Hadjar, Lawson, Albon, and Carlos Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Arvid Lindblad, and Alonso, Bottas, Ryder, Max Verstappen, and Nico Hülkenberg, Behrman, Colapinto, Stroll, and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend, Anthony Davidson. So we're getting close to the start of the race. What will this driver be experiencing? Big nerves? Big excitement? What?
Always extra nerves at the start of the race, Gruffy. Probably at the start of the race, it's where your heart rate's at its highest in anticipation. And you've got to be in the right mindset. You've got to be thinking there inside the car, what can go right? How can I be opportunistic rather than what can go wrong? And how do I protect my position? Look forward and stay positive. It's easy to say, very hard to do when you're in that position.
We just missed out on the points last race, so let's go and get some on the board here today.
And it's lights out and away we go as we get started with the Japanese Grand Prix. Ryder already passing teammate Valtteri Bottas. He has a run on Ocon as he goes into turn 1. Alonso and Ocon sitting around the outside. Ryder on the brakes a little bit early as they come out of 2. But Ryder isn't done yet. He keeps his nose alongside Ocon as they dance their way through the S's. Wheel to wheel through the opening sector. And he's got him. Keith Ryder completes the move and is already up to 14th place on the opening lap. What a confident start from the young American. And now Ryder has Fernando Alonso directly in his sights. The Aston Martin just up the road, the veteran Spaniard trying to settle into rhythm, but Ryder is closing. He gets right on Alonso's gearbox here. Will he try to send it up into this turn? He does. He thinks about it. No, but he pulls back. Alonso getting a better run out of the corner, running up on the curb. Will Ryder get a better run into this hairpin here? He dives up the inside on Alonso. Is going to sneak past Alonso, trying to hang it around the outside, and he does still get it around the outside. Alonso with a better run up on the outside. Ryder using that battery to sling it up the outside of Alonso, and he makes it through. Next up, Arvin Lindblad. Is he going to make the move up into 12th place? He thinks about it. They connect, and Ryder turns it sideways, but he keeps it in 13th place. Alonso's still trying to hang it around the outside. Going to use all the track there, getting up on the curb. They touch as they come down the backstretch and look to go into 130R. Ryder getting through on Alonso as he tries to set his sights once again on Arvid Lindblad. Well, if that opening lap is anything to go by, we're in for an absolute thriller. Action everywhere you looked. Ryder getting up onto the gearbox of Lindblad here as they come out of the final corner and onto the front stretch. He's going to use that battery. Can he make a move into turn 1? It looks like Ryder is definitely thinking about it. He's closing the gap. He makes a move up the inside of Arvid Lindblad into turn 1. Lindblad sending it around the outside. They go side by side through corner number 2. As Ryder kind of runs him off the track there, and he makes the move stick going into the S's here at the beginning of lap 2. Ryder now finds himself in 12th place, but the next car on the road is Alex Albon in 11th. There's a reasonable gap between them, so for the time being, it's all about putting in consistent lap times and seeing if he can gradually reel the Williams in. And we're going to pick things up here on lap 5. Ryder has closed the gap on Alex Albon, now within a second as they go into the KCO triangle. He's right on the gearbox of Albon here. Can he get it run onto the front stretch here as they go into the final turn? Oh, and a big moment for Ryder. The rear steps out as Ryder gets on the power just a touch too early. He catches it well, but that's going to compromise his run all the way down the main straight as he heads into turn 1. You hear a message from the team there. That's great tire management from Keith Ryder. He's kept those hard compounds in the operating window, allowing Cadillac to push the pit stop back a few laps. We're going to move ahead here to lap 7 as he's closed the gap again to Alex Albon. Albon on the medium tires. Liam Lawson ahead of him on those soft compound tires. Those tires are going to be going away any second now. They're going to go into the hairpin here. Ryder is right back on the gearbox of Alex Albon. Albon gets the better exit, but Ryder has the run down towards 200R. He's going to close the gap. He sends it up the inside, and through goes Keith Ryder. A clean move, and he's up another place. Now Liam Lawson is the next target, running just ahead on those aging soft compound tires. Ryder is going to deploy the battery here as they come up into 130R. Will he be able to make a move into the KCO triangle? He's actually not really closing the gap. He's going to let off the battery there to try to recharge it some. Will he make a move into this corner right here? No, he thinks better of it. Lets Lawson have the position there as they go into the KCO triangle. He's tucked right under the rear wing of the Racing Bull through the triangle, looking for better traction on the pit straight. Ryder gets a fantastic launch out of the final corner, pulls alongside, and takes the place before turn 1. For a moment there in the rear view, it looked like Alex Albon might follow Ryder through, but Lawson shuts the door just in time to keep that Williams behind him. Keith Ryder is already beginning to replicate what we saw in Albert Park at the season opener, steadily carving his way through this field. Next up is going to be the Williams of Carlos Sainz. He's going to be on those older medium tires. Ryder doing a great job with that hard compound to save that tire life and make the most out of his grip. Ryder is already showing the advantage of those fresher tires, closing to within a second of Carlos Sainz as they're going to head into the hairpin. This has been a troublesome corner for him all weekend long, but can he make it through? No! Oh, and another big snap of oversteer. Ryder gets the rear loose on corner exit, and that opens the door for Liam Lawson. Lawson sends it up the inside, but Ryder's going to send it right back on him into the grass. Can he make it stick? No, he does not. Lawson holds the position as they go into Spoon. Albon right on the rear wing of Keith Ryder as they come out of Spoon, and he loses it again. He's sideways again, and there's contact. There's contact. Ryder loses the rear once more. Albon running into the side of him. Albon has absolutely nowhere to go. The two make contact through Spoon. Ryder hemorrhaging positions there. 5 places gone already. Esteban Ocon is trying to make another one as they charge at a 130R into the KCO triangle. They're going to go side by side into these S's here. Ryder getting squirrely, but keeping a nose ahead. Multiple cars you see going into the pit lane. Nico Hülkenberg and Max Verstappen into the pits. Let's look at the replay here. Ryder just loses it on the curb there, and Albon losing the front left end plate of his wing. Surprisingly, Ryder with no damage. I mean, that's an absolute miracle. We're going to cut ahead here to lap 10. Ryder has worked his way into 5th place after superb opening stint, but his attention is now going to turn to the pit window. Just ahead, Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso locked in battle. Alonso is actually going to elect to pit first, and Ryder's going to follow them in to the pit lane, right at the line. And what is this? Ryder speeding and then a late turn into the pit box. In that confusion, that's going to cost him just valuable time there. It's a 3.1 second stop, and he's held even longer after being released. What is happening to Keith Ryder? The pressure is clearly beginning to build. Perhaps he thought that 10-second penalty would be served at the stop, but that's not how the regulations work. A string of costly mistakes here at Suzuka for the rookie. That penalty is a significant setback for Keith Ryder. The key now is to not let one mistake turn to two. He'll need to reset, get his head down, and focus on recovering what he can. We'll rejoin the action on lap 12. Ryder's tucked behind Alonso and Sainz. Oh, and another huge tank slapper. That's at least the 3rd time we've seen the rear step out on him today. Somehow he keeps it out of the wall, but he's making life very, very difficult for himself. He's going to be right on the rear wing here of Alonso. He's thinking about the outside. Alonso covers it off, and he sends it up the inside, making it through to that 15th spot. We cut ahead to lap 13, and Keith Ryder has once again closed the gap to Carlos Sainz, who's running in 13th place. They head into the hairpin with Fernando Alonso tucked in behind Ryder. Ryder gets a fantastic exit, carries momentum towards 200R. He's alongside Sainz and sweeps around the outside. A brilliant move from Keith Ryder, reclaiming yet another position that he lost earlier. Ryder appears to be, really driving with a real sense of urgency now. He knows that 10-second penalty is still hanging over his head, so every second that he can gain before the next pit stop can prove absolutely crucial. We'll cut ahead here to lap 14 as Ryder has closed the gap on Arvid Lindblad. As they go through the hairpin, you can finally see that Ryder seems to have found something through that corner to look a little more comfortable. He's got a great run on Lindblad here. He's going to throw it up on the outside of the Racing Bull. Lindblad hanging tough, though, hanging it around the outside, but Ryder makes the move stick, holding it on the inside and getting through on the Racing Bull. What wheel-to-wheel racing we have seen today here at Suzuka. This fight is going to be far from over, though, as Lindblad stays tucked right into the slipstream as they sweep through 130R, waiting for any opportunity to strike. Into the KCO triangle, Ryder right behind Nico Hülkenberg. He's going to be looking to get a great run. He gets on the power a little early, and Arvid Lindblad is going to send it up the inside on the front stretch, stealing the position away from Keith Ryder. But Ryder's going to use that overtake mode to great effect, stealing the position away and cleanly clearing the Racing Bull into turns 1 and 2. He'll be looking to latch onto the back of Nico Hülkenberg's Audi as they work their way through the S's. We'll jump ahead to a little later in the lap, and we're back at a section of the track that's already produced plenty of action. Ryder gets a little sideways there, but he's going to be trying to close the gap here on Nico Hülkenberg. They're going to go into the hairpin. Ryder letting it drift a little wide on corner exit, but gets the traction down well, enough to carry the momentum onto the backstretch. Ryder has the run. It looks like he's going to send it up the inside and claims the position. Another clean overtake from Keith Ryder. With Hülkenberg behind him, Ryder now sets his sights on the 4-time world champion Max Verstappen. Another challenge awaiting the American. The gap is still just over 3 seconds, so Verstappen isn't under any immediate pressure. Ryder's just got to keep chipping away at it one lap at a time. Every 10th he can find is going to matter, especially with that 10-second penalty still hanging over him. He'll be hoping to get as close as he can before the next round of pit stops. And we'll cut ahead here to that next round of pit stops on lap 18. As Ryder is going to be approaching the pit window here, pit entry here, he does look like he's taking it a little bit slower. You can tell he's being much more cautious this time. Hard on the brakes there right before the line. And after the mistake of his first stop, he's taking absolutely no chances. He gets in the pit box clearly and finds his marks in the box. Now the team can finally serve that penalty, and this is the longest 10 seconds of Keith Ryder's young Formula One career. Helpless in the pit box, all he can do is watch the field stream pass before the crew can finally get to work. Ryder pulling out of his pit box, he rejoins, and the positions keep disappearing down the pit straight. Where will he come out? You see a line of cars on the minimap there streaming past him. Where is he going to come out? It is P19. He gets a little sideways there, a little squirrely coming out into turn 1. But that's got to be a bitter pill to swallow for the rookie after such a promising opening stint. But the race isn't over yet. He'll have to reset, get his head down, and begin the recovery all over again. We'll pick things up on lap 21. Ryder sits around 2.5 seconds behind Albon. You see a message from the team there. Hang on a minute. We're just trying to figure out what exactly has happened here at Cadillac. Not really sure what that issue is. How is that going to affect Ryder's race? And it's the active aero. That's a major concern for Keith Ryder. If that rear wing isn't opening properly on the straights, he's going to lose a significant amount of top speed. We'll jump ahead now to the final lap. If you look at the interval, Ryder simply has not been able to make any meaningful inroads into Fernando Alonso or Nico Hülkenberg. That active aero issue has robbed the Cadillac of its straight line speed, leaving him with little chance of mounting a late charge. The checkered flag is just moments away, and it's been a race of what might have been for Keith Ryder. There were flashes of genuine pace throughout the afternoon. Bold overtakes, an excellent opening stint, and for long periods it looked as though points were well within reach. But Formula One has a way of punishing even the smallest mistakes. A pit lane speeding penalty, a handful of costly moments behind the wheel, and then the active aero failure combined to turn a promising afternoon into an uphill battle. Still, there are positives for Cadillac to take away here. The speed was there, the racecraft was there, and despite everything that went wrong, Ryder never stopped fighting. Those are encouraging signs for a rookie still finding his feet at the highest level of motorsport.
We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins. It's been a hard afternoon of brilliant racing, but now it's time for some proper celebrations. The podium awaits. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Despite the setbacks, Keith Ryder has been voted Driver of the Day. It won't erase the disappointment of the afternoon, but it's recognition of the pace, the overtaking, and the determination he showed from lights out to the checkered flag. We'll see you next week for round 3 of the Formula One World Championship as Keith Ryder returns home for his first ever home Grand Prix, the Miami Grand Prix.